Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to share with you guys a couple products by a company called Iview. They were nice enough to sponsor the video and send me two of their smart home products. And the ones we're going to talk about today are a Iview smart plug and, of course, the Iview smart Wi-Fi bulb. Let's go ahead and start with the one that I don't have in front of me today because I have it linked up to hooked up to a chandelier that I have wired into the attic, and I'm not going to climb up there to get it, but this is what it looks like. And you know what, there's not really, when it comes to these smart sockets, there's not really much to say about them other than the fact that they either work or they don't, okay? And so with this one here, a couple pros to these, why you would get this device as opposed to some of the other ones. It's low profile design, it's rectangular, so you could actually use two of these in one socket, where some of the other ones actually overlap the other socket a little bit, where you have to be kind of specific on what you're going to be able to plug in there. If you were to use one of the elf plugs or one of the round plugs I reviewed in the past, you can't put two in one socket, they won't fit. These, you can actually put two of them. Other great feature on this here is that it has a switch for manual control, so you can turn it on and off via the switch in the event you lose Wi-Fi or something. And it also has a Wi-Fi indicator, which you cannot see, but there is a Wi-Fi indicator showing that it is connected to Wi-Fi. So that's one nice feature that my other smart sockets do not have. Does it work? It works flawlessly. I have my chandelier plugged into it, and it'll support up to 1760 watts. Price point on this one here, and that's always a factor because everybody and their brother makes sockets and smart bulbs nowadays. So you can get these for about $17. So that's definitely more competitive than the elf plug that I previously reviewed, and more competitive than a lot of the other big boy names out there. The only issue with some of these off-brands, and I do consider this more of an off-brand, because let's face it, if you go into your local stores, you're going to find what? You're going to find Lifx bulbs, you're going to find Samsung smart things, you're going to find all those bigger, more well-known names that basically do the same thing but charge you twice, sometimes three times as much. So this is a great option if you're looking for a nice low-profile smart plug that just works fantastic. 16, 17 bucks. We'll get this shipped through my links. Works with excuse me, Amazon Alexa and Google Home, okay? Now let's talk about the next product they sent me, and this is a Iview, their ISV600 smart bulb. And I happen to have that here. I did pull it out of the fixture, and this is what it looks like. One thing I really like about this bulb, it is pretty lightweight, and of course it has more of your traditional globe style lens, where some of the other bulbs out there have more of a projectile style, whereas you don't have that big globe to illuminate all that light. This functions more like your traditional halogen or traditional incandescent bulb. So I like that feature about it. Downside to it is a little bit taller than some of your other models out there. So if you have a kind of short fixture like the ones I have here, this might poke up to the top a little bit. So it may not work for you depending on what fixture you put it in. Lumens on this here, 600 lumens or 50 watt incandescent equivalent. Draws 7 watts of power and is your traditional E27 base. It is compatible with Google Home and Alexa. Now, one thing that I think sets this bulb apart is the price. If you want to go ahead and comparing this to some of the other brands out there, let's face it, everybody and their brother is making smart plugs and smart sockets and smart bulbs nowadays. This can be had for 17 bucks shipped, and I will always put a link in description. Now I reviewed the Flux bulbs, which are the ones behind us here, and I'll just demonstrate that this works exactly like the Flux bulbs. There's really no different in the color combinations here, and we'll just demonstrate it on the lamp we have behind me. I can go to blue, I can go to purple, green, yellow, go to green a little bit there. There we go, that's more of a green. And you can just dial the color into whatever you really want here with the color wheel, okay? And we're just gonna go back to blue. Warm white and cool white. Now, if you notice the Flux bulb, the cool white on this definitely has more of a purple hue to it. And I found it very difficult to get a more natural daylight cool color out of that. When you compare this to the Lifx bulbs, you can dial in exactly the Kelvin temperature. Now, you are going to be paying a lot more for Lifx bulbs. At the price of $50 to $60 per bulb, these are a lot more affordable. Now, if you want a bulb that you really want to dial in that white color with the perfect Kelvin temperature, I definitely recommend going with the Lifx bulbs over any of these, at least the ones I reviewed, any of these less expensive options. But if you're more concerned, or an output, these put out 600 lumens. Your Lifexpulse is going to be putting out about 1,000 or 1,100 lumens, so they're twice as bright. Of course, they do draw more current or more wattage. But I use the Lifx bulbs in certain areas of my house where I want more light, and in situations like this where I want these bulbs to be more ambiance, in my bedroom, stuff like that, these bulbs are perfect, okay? Now, one thing that does set the Iview bulb apart from other bulbs in its price range, such as the Flex bulbs I reviewed the other day, is the fact that although the Flex bulbs feel more well-made, they're heavier, they feel more sturdy, it's really irrelevant because the bulb just sits there. It doesn't have to really take any abuse. What's nice about this bulb is that you're able to dial in the bright, or not the warm whites, the cool whites much better than the Flex bulbs or some of the other alternatives like the Magic Light that I previously reviewed in another video. So that's something to be said about this particular bulb, and something that I think for its price point puts it ahead of some of the other brands out there. And I'm not going to demonstrate that because the lamp is in the other bedroom, but that's it right there, and it works great. Now, again, compatible with Google Home, Alexa, all that stuff. Now, one thing I've said in a lot of my review videos when it comes to smart stuff is that nobody makes one specific hub that controls anything. And the only ones that do make anything like that are going to be your Google Homes or your Alexas. Those are more of a they are a hub, they're just a voice-controlled hub. And unfortunately, they don't have an app. And hopefully one day they will create an app where all those different things that work with this device will have a nice app that in the event you don't want to use your voice, you can have one app to control everything. These won't work with SmartThings, these won't work with a lot of different hubs out there, but which is kind of an annoyance because sometimes I don't want to use my voice. I just want to grab my phone and turn things on or off or change the color, and you have to have different apps. So let's face it, with all these different apps we have, you can fill up 16 gigs on your phone pretty quickly, which brings me to what I like about some of these Chinese companies that are making some of these off-brand products. When you get them, I encourage you to maybe not use the app that they recommend. This one said you can download their Iview app. And if you get this bulb and this is the bulb you're going to use, then by all means use that. But a lot of these Chinese companies that make these smart sockets and plugs use similar apps with different names, but the same cloud server. And the cloud server is what allows you to be able to turn these lights on from outside your network. So if you're at work, you want to turn the lights on or off, you can always set up the timers. They're all compatible with that. But if you want to just say, hey, let me check, see if I left my light on, turn it on or off, you can do that remotely from outside your network. You can integrate all this stuff with IFTT and all, to have different macros for different situations. But one thing I like, and you won't know until you get it, and I encourage you, if you have many devices, like for instance, I have many devices from many manufacturers. So for me, I use several different apps to control these, but I don't want to add another app, okay? What I liked about this particular brand is that it was compatible with the Smart Life app. And on eBay, there's lots of different sockets and smart plugs out there that are compatible with Smart Life. And this is one of them. And so when I go ahead and opened up Smart Life and went to add this bulb, I just tested it out just to try it, it was actually able to pick up the bulb. And you can see right here where it says, hopefully you can see, bedroom chair, that's this bulb. And so now, instead of having to have another app for these two different devices, I'm able to add these in the Smart app and have not only my hall chandelier with the Iview socket, but the bedroom chair with the Iview bulb and my existing bedroom fan and backyard lights that were one of the round style smart sockets I got off eBay for like 2 for $23. So it's nice that they work with that particular app, so I didn't have to download a whole other app. So that's something to be said about that. So if you are looking for a smart bulb and you're using the Smart Life app already on your phone for some other devices, this is a no-brainer for you if you want to add smart Wi-Fi devices into your house. Why not keep them under the same app? So that's my 2 cents. So guys, great product. Very happy with it. I just want to go ahead and thank Iview for the generosity in sending me this stuff. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. This is to be said about many different devices out there on eBay. If you have any questions and you say, hey, I have this stuff already. For instance, if you have some of the RGB red, green, blue Wi-Fi controllers for your LED strips, they're like your generic ones off eBay, your Magic Light will actually work with those as well. So Magic Light makes one of these bulbs as well. Those will work with that. For instance, if you are like, okay, well, I'm not using, the Smart Life app. I have some other plugs that work with the Magic Light app. Well, Flux also works with Magic Light. So if you go into my Flux app, you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different devices, Magic Bulb, RGB controllers, and what else? The Flux bulbs right here are on the same app. So it's nice to be able to consolidate some of these under one app as opposed to having several different apps. That's why it's important. If you want to build a smart home, you know, I always encourage being able to do it at a cost-effective price. You know, we don't want to go out and spend, you know, $50 for a socket where we can get one that does the same thing for 15 bucks. I think that's pretty fair, pretty fair. I think everybody would agree with that. So let me know if you're in the market for any of this stuff. Great to keep it under one app. That's, you know, again, if you're only concerned with using Google Voice or Alexa, then naturally it doesn't matter because she will work with all the different brands out there. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. Once again, Iview, thank you very much for your generosity in sending me these products. I'll go ahead and put links in the description for you to get these for the best deal. Subscribe, like, click the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video. As always, guys, have a great day. Take care.